So now my mic is on.
Maybe you can just join to be right.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'm going to join it.
Oh, all Chinese. Yeah, her student. No, let them pray. Now you hear you now one presenter is already here. Now Zhou Xin Zhou Zhu is the last one. She is the last presenter. So now we're missing the first one, second.
Good morning. Welcome to the panel. My name is Andy Garcia, and I'm the technical support. I'm going to help you to play the pre-recordings. Thank you. If you have questions, I'm here to help you. Thank you.
Great. Hi, Andy. This is Cam Razavi from SFU. We're going to get going soon. So you have the videos. We have 4 speakers today, and I have 3 videos for 3 of them. So I don't have the video for Emmanuel Takang.
Yes.
Do you have that video?
Yes, the fourth one is maybe a live presentation, but if he's not here, it is okay. We can go with the 3 presentations.
Okay, and then the other thing is the video for Mohammed Jar, the audio is not very good, so FYI on that.
Okay, I will see.
So maybe, yeah, I flagged it last night to Hao Tian and to Tonton and Professor Sao. So maybe we'll start with Professor Yang, because his video was very good, and then maybe go to Zhou Zixiang after, and then after the last one, we'll do Mohammed Zar. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so why don't we start in about 3 minutes? Let's just wait for more people to join us.
Yeah. Cam,
Yeah,
I just introduced another panel chair, the Professor Du.
yeah, go
Yes,
for it.
I'm here.
Yes, I'm here. Hua,
Yeah,
I'm here.
yeah. So you and Cam, both of you are panel chairs.
That's
Yes,
right.
right.
Good.
Thank you very much for your organizing a very important event.
Thank you for your encouragement.
So,
Yeah.
you are the big boss.
Cam,
Yeah,
Professor Du is from Yunnan Agricultural University.
that's right.
And he has he's specialist in social, is right? Social something. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, Kama, my background is sociology and anthropology.
Very nice.
Yes, I'm now working in the Kunming. Several years ago, I worked in Beijing in Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, Institute of Ethnology and Anthropology. So my background is sociology. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We're still getting a bit of echo on you, by the way.
Okay.
But I heard most of that. Yeah, I don't know if you have two computers going or what, but it's very echoey.
他说你有那个回音。
哦，是这个有回音怎么整？把那边关掉。So yes.
你们两个可能在一个房间里。Just by the way, Cam is very interested in something about China for a long time. Cam, is it right?
For a long time, yeah. So yeah, we can talk about this after, but yes. I think I know what the problem is. I have you twice in here, so.
Cam,
Yeah.
it is clear or not?
It's okay. It's not amazing, but it's understandable.
So I'm sorry.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. It looks like you're logged in twice. I see your name 2 times on here. So I think you might have to log off one of the 2 computers.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why your name is on here twice, but
他说我这个2次的，关掉。志祥，刚才关掉一个算球了。
他说我2次。就是您有一个没有画面啊，就是您的画面是这个，您的画面是用手机的，干脆把这个关掉算了，我用手机算了。
okay, everyone, I think we should start. We don't want to be running late.
这个关掉。
Yes, should I start playing the first pre-recording?
Sure. I was just going to say, well, there aren't that many people on here, but if everybody could mute themselves, that would be great. And yeah, let's start with the first pre-recording. I think we should start with maybe Professor Yang because his recording was quite clear. But yeah, let's play the first recording.
Do you see the video?
I see the screen. I can't hear the video yet, but let's.
Yeah, it's not playing. I was just making sure that you see it.
Okay, yeah, yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Today, I will give my research about conventional and emerging energy, future city transformation, and its social environment benefits. I'm Do Yang, come from Southwestern University, China. Global warming has become the world concern in recent years. In 2008, IPCC released a report global warming of 1.5 centigrade. In this report, it pointed that if we not make unprecedented efforts, 1.5 of global warming will come by as early as 2030. The global warming will bring us many risks in energy, food, and water sectors. Facing such situations, how can we do if we replace conventional energy? The degree of climate change mitigation we should know, and the job opportunity and economic benefits about the energy replacement. And also we should also know that in different urban sectors of how can we do? Our research objective is to analyze the future trends in energy consumption and GHG emissions in Zhangjiakou City from 2006 and to 2050 and different scenarios. The second is project energy-driven GHG emissions in key years, that is the Winter Olympic Games in 2022 and the peak year, and analyze the energy carbon dynamics. The third is uncover the social, economic, and environmental benefits of energy replacement. Last one is recommend alternative long-term policies for development of low-carbon energy in Zhangjiakou. Our method is based on the LEAP model, long-range and energy alternative planning system. In this model, we developed based on this model, we developed a local model for Zhangjiakou. We call it Lipzhang machine. From the figure, we can see the detail of Lipzhang machine. In this in Lipzhang machine, there are 3 modules and for 7 sectors. The 3 modules similarly are in the use demand and the transformation and energy supply. We also design 2 scenarios and 3 sub-scenarios. The 2 scenarios are business as usual scenarios and integrated scenarios. The third sub scenarios include renewable energy alternative sub scenarios, industrial structure optimization sub scenarios, and energy saving facility sub scenarios. We also make cost of power generation and sensitivity analysis. Our study is located in Zhangjiakou. Zhangjiakou is located in the northwest upwind outlet of Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei metropolitan district. It is also an ecological buffer and water source for Beijing city. It is a co-host city with Beijing for the 2022 Winter Olympic Games, and it is the first and only state-scale renewable energy demonstration zone. So, as a conventional industrial, it provides us an ideal case for studying the climate change in China. About the results, we can see from the figure the energy amount will increase from 2006 and to 2050, and the coal and coke will decrease, and also the clean and renewable energy will increase significantly. The power generation sector account for 65% demand, the total of total demand, and a peak year in anti scenario, the GHG emissions won't decrease significantly after an initial increase, and in the Olympic year, anti-scenarios could then lead to a reduction of 11.24 million tons of CO2. About the sector, the power generation sector and the industry sector contribute most in 2006. In the end year of the third period, in anti scenarios, the contribution by scenario sector on the decrease to 12%. If all policies were implemented, the emission reduction would grow from 11 million CO2 in 2022 to 100 million ton CO2 in 2050. REA sub-scenario would make the largest contribution in all the scenarios. Employment capacity of power generation sector fueled by renewable energy will develop rapidly in the next 30 years. By 2050, jobs will reach 1.15 million in the anti-scenarios. Employment in power generation fueled by solar energy will grow the most. Emerging energy industries had great employment potential than traditional energy industries while reducing GHG emissions. Unite power generation cost and the BAU scenarios is higher than the IT scenarios. The coal-fired power generation accounts for the majority of total power generation cost under the BAU scenarios. The anti-scenario had a great advantage in terms of economic costs in the power generation sector than that of the BAU scenarios in Zhangjiakou City. This part is about discussing the peak carbon emissions. Total GHG emissions in anti-scenarios would peak in 2030, but would continue to grow with no peak in the BAU scenarios. The greatest reduction in GHG emissions would come from the industry sector and the power generation sector. In previous studies, the peak value was considered to be close related regional GDP and population. In this study, the role of renewable energy is identified as another vital factor determining the peak period of GHG emissions. About policy intervention, because of low carbon economic area, Zhangjiakou has launched many actions to reduce carbon emissions. And the anti-scenarios current policy intervention would only have a moderate environment impact in Zhangjiakou City by 2022, suggests that more aggressive policy measures should be introduced to achieve long-term low carbon targets. About the energy transition, industry adjustment and saving policies have been formed in ISO and ESF sub-scenarios. Feasible local carbon measures and aggressive energy substitution pathways are expected to release and implemented for clear future. Zhangjiakou has implemented a series of long-term policies for development of low-carbon energy by industrial structure adjustment, transport energy replacement, tourist industry energy saving, urban intelligent management system, and so on. Lastly is about for the weakness and implications of this paper. The LEAP model provides models for the analysis of environmental effects, climate change, and economic costs, but lack of complete social environmental analysis. However, the impact on economic and employment system is a key part of energy replacement that has to be considered. The study analyzed the replacement effect of energy from the in complement perspective environment economy, such as only accessory cost of power generation rather than the total cost of entire life cycle of renewable. And the research didn't consider the advancement of renewable technology as well as well-known low-carbon energy, such as nuclear power and CCS, partly because of the opacity of technology information and local incompatibility. Thanks. If you want to know details about my paper, you can download it from the Renewable and Sustainable Energy Reviews.
Okay, thanks so much. So Andy, we have Zhixiang now. I see you here. Do you want to do your presentation live or should we just play the tape?
Please play the presentation pre-record.
Pre-record. Okay, great. All right, so let's do it.
Video.
Hello everyone, my name is Zhou Zixiang. I'm from Yunnan Agricultural University, which is located in the southwestern China, for Yunnan province. And I'm very appreciative to have this chance to share my paper, which titled Research on Ecological Relocation in Nujiang. And firstly, I want to introduce some information about Nujiang Lisu Autonomous Prefecture, which is located at the southwest of China. People here lived in ecologically fragile mountainous areas. It borders Tibet to the north and shares a borderline with Myanmar in the west. Nujiang Prefecture is well known for lofty mountains, steep gorges, rich flora and fauna, and diverse ethnic cultures. Three rolling rivers, the Nujiang, Salween River, Lancang, Mekong River, and the Dulong River, flow parallel from north to south through four great mountains. The area is home to 22 minorities, among which 12 are indigenous tribes, including Lisu, Nu, Pumi, Dulong, and so on. These minority groups all have their own unique languages, distinct cultures, and folk customs, but because of isolation in mountainous, people here were in poverty before ecological relocation. And about ecological relocation in Nujiang Prefecture, the Nujiang in recent years, ecological relocation is regarded as one of the effective ways for the poor shaking off poverty and participating in ecological construction. During 2016 to 2020, nearly 100,000 resettlers, more than a fifth of the total population of Nujiang Prefecture, have been relocated from mountainous areas to centralized communities, including more than 68,000 resettlers with urbanization settlement. And there are some pictures I took which show some small houses on the hillside. These small buildings is the villages where they lived. About my data and method. In Nujiang Prefecture, the key areas for policy implementation are overlapping areas of ecological fragility and poverty, including Lushui County, Fugong County, and Gongshan County. In August 2019 and January 2020, I went to Nujiang Prefecture twice to conduct questionnaire surveys and interviews with 210 relocated households in Lushui County, Fugong County, and Gongshan County. I randomly selected communities involving ecological resettlement. In the investigation of community, I randomly selected respondents who were at home that day. The survey includes family population information, participation in ecological relocation, and family livelihood activities. In the investigation, I adopted various methods to assure data quality. The survey uses a combination of structured questionnaires and semi-structured interviews, and after the questionnaires were collected, they were reviewed by supervisors. Questionnaire data was checked for logic after they were entered. Respondents were fully informed and consented to data collection before the survey. In the entry and use of data, I fully paid attention to protecting the information of the respondents. This survey received a total of 210 questionnaires, and 203 of them is valid. And here are some pictures when interviewing some researchers. And the results show that Nujiang's practice of ecological poverty alleviation consists of 4 types, including participating in ecological engineering construction and implementation of ecological compensation policies. Next is establishment of ecological public welfare posts. And finally is development of ecological characteristic industries. And second result is relocation has changed the livelihood strategies of immigrant families, greatly reducing low-income families whose main income is from agricultural production. And the relocation program has also delivered improvements in housing conditions, infrastructure, employment opportunities, public services, and ecological environment. And elderly groups, people more than 50 years old, are more unsuited to live in the new community. And finally, social expenditures have increased, which has added to the financial burden on the community's households. Here are some pictures I took in the Village History Museum. In the above one, we can say that the village's housing condition is very poor before relocation. They live in the bamboo house made of basketry. You can see the museum itself is building such technique. And another picture shows that the villagers now live in the modern house. And you can see the village is down from the mountain and join the centralized community. And here are some photos showing us the appearance of the community. And you can see this place gives the residents a place to have some public social activity. And here's another photo. You can see the appearance. And you can say the motorcycles are the main transportation vehicle here. And the residents nowadays get used to the electrical appliance. And in this picture, you can see the left women, which is a native, use a traditional way to take and transport the water by bamboo. And the right picture shows the villages nowadays in the community get the clean water in modern house. And here's a kindergarten community which is built with the aid of a Chinese enterprise. And here is a baseball poverty alleviation workshop which has solved the employment problems of many relocated villages, especially women. And in these workshops, they can get their job done, and meanwhile, they can nurse their children. And this is a workshop which is making shoes, and it can provide at least 20 jobs. And this is a basketry workshop which gives the opportunity for the elder people who have the particular skills to earn some salaries. Here is one of the artifacts made by the workers. And here's a chart which summarizes the developments after the relocation, including housing condition, livelihood, medical condition, education, public services, living energy, and social interaction. The conclusion is, not only has the program lifted the poor above the poverty line, it has also delivered improvements in housing conditions, infrastructure, employment opportunities, public services, and the ecological environment. However, significant challenges remain to be addressed for all resettlers, such as sustainable livelihoods and post-resettlement support programs to help resettlers of all ages adapt to the new community environments. Attention should be paid to the endogenous impetus of the vulnerable groups and to improve the participation of community governance, which helps to improve the well-being of resettlers. And these are part of my references. And thank you for your attention. Finally, I want to give my best regards to the people who helped and encouraged me during the writing of the paper. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Zixiang. That was a really interesting presentation. And actually, I have many questions that I can ask you about this. So we could do that after. Now, we have one more pre-recording, but I found the audio very bad. So personally, I think we should skip it. I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, Andy, you can try to play it, but the audio to me was very, very bad. So
Yeah, I'm going to try to play it, and if
I'll
it
leave it
doesn't
to your
work,
decision. Yeah,
yes,
I'll leave it to your decision.
thank you.
Bonjour. Premièrement, je voudrais remercier les initiateurs et les organisateurs de cette quatrième conférence internationale sur l'urbanisation durable canadienne, chinoise et africaine qui se déroulera à Montréal, Canada, du 27 juillet au 1er août 2021.
Do you hear it well, or?
I actually do. It's not as bad as I thought, but I wonder if, like, I don't think anyone else on the call here, I'm not sure who else speaks French, but I mean, we don't have that many people here. So I'm not sure if Professor Du or Zhixiangzhou speaks French, but anyways, what do you think?
It is not clear. I cannot hear from him.
Yeah, it's not great.
You know, so very bad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not as bad as I thought, but yeah.
The Zha is not here. It's not in the session in the panel, right?
No.
No, he's absent.
I think we should just do some questions with Zixiang because he was nice enough to join us.
Yes, very good. Yeah, very good suggestion. So we may ask some questions to Zixiang because he did a field research in Nujiang, which is located in Myanmar and China, Yunnan. Very interesting place, location.
Yeah. So, Andy, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm here to help you.
Well, I mean, okay. Now, do you both go to the same? Are you both in Kunming or at the moment?
Yeah, we're both in Kunming.
You're both in Kunming. Okay. Well, Zixiang, I had a few questions if I can ask you this. Well, first of all.
Okay, please go on.
Yeah. Well, the first question I had was, so you interviewed 210 relocated households, right?
Yeah.
So I was wondering, did any of these people express any resistance to being relocated? Like, were any of them not supportive of the idea of moving into the apartment buildings?
Yeah, some of them have such situations. For example, the elderly people between 50 and 60, they just used to the old lifestyle. And after relocation, they feel like they need to get familiar with new lifestyle, and they are very uncomfortable. Another main reason is the elderly people has not stable livelihood. They can't work with work in the urban. They just understand how to do the agricultural work. They just know how to farm. They don't know how to live in the city. So they express the unsatisfactory expressions to me.
And they expressed that before they moved or after they moved?
After they moved, because some decisions are decided by their younger people. The resettle decision, I mean.
So would you say out of the 210, like what percentage were supporting? I'm guessing that the majority were in favor of moving and a small number, right?
Yeah. More than I can say more than 90% is very accepted to this plan.
Okay, and then the other question I had was, you talked about improvements in housing, infrastructure, employment opportunities, and public services, right? As the four types of poverty alleviation. I'm just trying to understand what is the ecological aspect to it. You said ecological relocation, right? So
in my first results, I show you 4 types of ecological relocation methods, just like the poverty alleviation workshop in that photo. The government just built such workshop to let the resettlers have some job to do, such like basketry they use their skills to work in the urban area. And the ecological aspects is they can join the action to protect the ecological environment. They have a farewell job, I can say, 公益岗位.
公益岗位啊。
So they can earn some like turn like 800 yuan per month, and they get this part-time job to earn some money and as well as to protect their old family, old home. They can use their like local knowledge to protect their environment.
好，那我想问一下，就像那个公益岗位具体是什么？具体那个公益岗位是那种是什么？是一种
公益岗位，在那里的公益岗位主要有8种，就是8大，对，比如说他们可以去当辅警，就是警员，还有最主要的是他们可以去当护林员，就是保护森林的。护林员
活动，
然后护河员就是保护当地河流的，然后护路员保护当地道路的，就是类似的这些，有8种类型。公益岗位就是像这样就可以帮助部分的，特别是年纪稍大的人群去解决他们的工作，并且这种公益岗位是每一户每一个家庭必须要安插1位，就是per household have one welfare post.
One welfare post, yeah, okay. That's really interesting to me because I was wondering, like, what is the ecological component of this? And so you explained it. So this is so basically they engage in this kind of ecological activity as part of the. I guess this is part of the relocation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much. It's a very interesting research. So are you going to go do PhD now or what?
I like to, but I need to try. I need to work hard.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it, your presentation. Okay, so I think that's it, you guys. Unless there's any other questions. Professor Du, do you have any questions?
Yes, I have one question because Zhixiang mentioned that after relocation, there are some challenges. What's the most challenges for the local people after removed Zhixiang? Could you give me some explanations? So what's the most challenges when they moved to the urban from rural?
I think the most challenge is livelihood because some people don't have the skill to adopt to the new lifestyle, and some not only the elderly people, the younger people who doesn't work in the outer areas to work outside to have a job, they haven't the skill to live in the community, and they just feel lost. They feel they have no identity to this new community, and another problem is many people very rely on or partly rely on the subsidize the local subsidize. The resettle subsidies because the government gives their so many subsidies to get through the resettle period after maybe 2 years or 3 years after relocation. But if they don't get some stable livelihood during this period, they will feel very difficult after the government stop to give them subsidies.
Okay, that's enough. Because we have limited time for another speaker.
I actually had one more question. I don't know if I can ask you this question, but you described the work they do, the ecological work they do, the charity work, the Gongyiganwei.
Yeah.
So how long does that work continue after they move? So is that like a regular work that goes on for permanently, or is it just a short-term opportunity?
Yeah, now it's a part-time job, and they don't need to go their mountains or forests for every day, and they just need to go regularly with a team, with a guard forest team to like 4 times a month. And I have no idea if after 1 year or 2 year after they get richer or they shaking of poverty, then if such kind of welfare post will be remain. I have no idea of that.
Okay, well, great. That's super interesting. Well, thank you. Professor Du, do you have any more questions?
No, I don't have a question anymore. Thank you, Cam.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Well, I mean, we're a little bit early, but that's okay.
Because we have another the Taekwondo.
I don't think he's here, and we never received a recording from him.
Do you have a record video?
No.
Maybe for Professor Yang, we have some questions to Professor Yang.
Well, he's not here. That's the thing.
Not here?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So
we still have some questions to Zixiang, because Zixiang we maybe have some more response. So come, do you have any questions to Zixiang?
I don't anymore, to be honest. I think I asked all of my questions to him. So I mean, maybe, I'm happy.
Zixiang, maybe after graduate from the MA, they could pursue for his PhD in Canada. Maybe you go to SFU to be your student in the future.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe go nicer than SFU. Go to University of Ottawa or something.
Ottawa. Yes, go to University of Ottawa. Okay.
Yeah, but if you ever want to come to Canada and study, let me know and I can give you some suggestions,
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, to be honest with you guys, I'm happy to end it here because it's 7 in the morning here in Vancouver. So
7 in the morning? Okay,
yeah.
so you got up very early.
Very early. Yeah, I should have probably said
early.
something. But yeah, I woke up at 6 this morning to get ready for this because Canada has 4.5 time zones. So.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe you could go to another small sleep.
Maybe. I don't think so anymore. I mean, it's about drinking coffee and stuff. So
okay.
Yeah, but it is.
So come. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you very much. And actually, even though we're a small team, I actually really enjoyed your presentations this year. I just think it's really interesting.
Okay. Thank you very much. Come.
Yeah.
So
and
welcome to Yunnan. Welcome to Yunnan. Okay. We could compare with you to Lujiang to do the field research. Okay, because that is located to Myanmar to China border. It's very interesting.
I've been all over China.
That is many Christian there.
Yeah, I've been all over China. Okay, but the one part of China I haven't been to, believe it or not, is Yunnan. So
okay.
Yeah, so definitely if I come to Yunnan, to Kunming, I will definitely call you.
We are the host to you. Okay.
Thank you so much. Okay. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon. Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.